A blue-colored soda, a Hostess-like Oreo, and a cross between chicken and fries. Many of the 2000s most quirky foods have made quite the comeback in recent years with varying degrees of success. Once upon a time, finding variations on original Oreos was rare. However, in the past few years, the company behind Oreos has really capitalized on having lots of flavors available and introducing seasonal favorites like gingerbread. Oreo occasionally revisits old favorites, but this is the first time it has brought back Oreo Cakesters since 2012.
Dad, I'm pretty sure this isn't the talk.
It is the talk. It's the Oreo Cakesters talk.
To promote Oreo Cakesters, Oreo took over the last standing Blockbuster video store and gave away free Cakesters in what looked like old VHS cases. The catchphrase was, "It's 2007 all over again." Well, not quite. Most of us were watching movies through Netflix and on Blu-ray by then. If you are more of a cake than a cookie person, you can rejoice, because Oreo Cakesters are the perfect compromise between cake and cookie. One nostalgic fan calls the Cakester a mass-market whoopie pie. Cakesters have two puffy pieces of cookie-shaped cake stuffed with a creamy filling. Since they're soft, there's no need to dunk them in milk, plus they're also excellent frozen. Some consumers say they taste exactly like a cake version of an Oreo. Meanwhile, others who haven't tried them before were disappointed, saying that Cakesters were essentially a Hostess cupcake. Overwhelmingly, though, Oreo lovers and Cakester lovers have been thrilled at this 2022 comeback. We wouldn't be surprised if they stick around a while or make it into the regular Oreo rotation. Only time will tell. Doritos have come a long way since they debuted their first flavored tortilla chips in 1966. The first flavor was toasted corn. Then along came the classic nacho cheese flavor in 1972. These were the only two flavors available during Doritos' early years. But after they introduced Cool Ranch in 1986, they realized they were onto something and started producing new flavors. Since then, they've released over 170 types and flavors. Blazin Buffalo and Ranch Doritos were first released in 2006 and briefly returned in 2011. Then, they were spotted on the shelves again in 2017. Their most recent reappearance in 2022 is a part of Doritos' Solid Black initiative. 2,000 limited edition bags featured original artwork by Ms. Icar, an art collective whose members are mostly Black women. Blazin Buffalo and Ranch chips in these special bags were available only briefly online. If you weren't lucky enough to grab one, you may still be able to find this flavor at Sam's Club. Blazin Buffalo and Ranch is a Sam's Club exclusive Doritos flavor for a limited time. Of course, there's a chance they're already gone, since we couldn't find them on Sam's website in September 2022. Doritos brings this flavor back every 5 to 6 years, so you may have to wait until 2027 or 2028 to find them again if they're completely out of stock. Another nostalgic flavor from the 2000s that is making a comeback is Berries and Cream Dr. Pepper. It debuted in 2006, but it wasn't around for long. If you've been awaiting its return, we're sorry to report that Dr. Pepper only produced a few cans of Berries and Cream for the 2022 comeback. And you can't get them in stores. In fact, it may already be too late to get your hands on one of these limited edition Dr. Peppers. Dr. Pepper announced on Twitter in February 2022 that you had to sign up for Pepper Perks for a chance to win. So we're afraid there may be no more forthcoming. Then again, it could have been a way for the company to gauge interest in the flavor before committing to mass production. Pepper Perks winners only got a single 12-ounce can of Berries and Cream Dr. Pepper, which seems like a big tease. Of course, it did get more people to sign up as Pepper Perks members. Berries and Cream Dr. Pepper was difficult to find in 2017 when Dr. Pepper last brought it back. Fans said the dessert-like Berries and Cream Dr. Pepper was creamy and tasted like a cross between vanilla Dr. Pepper and cherry Dr. Pepper. If they brought it back to the shelves before, they can do it again. So keep your eyes open for it. Pepsi Blue also made a comeback from the 2000s. We first saw the electric blue soda on shelves from 2002 to 2004.
Hi, this is Britney Spears wishing you a happy Pepsi Blue Christmas.
It returned in 2021 for a limited time. Interestingly, there have been rumors of it returning again in 2022, so its first comeback was likely successful. Pepsi hinted at Pepsi Blue's return in June 2022 with a tweet saying, "Fashion trends come and go, but Pepsi Blue will always be in style." On the same day, Pepsi replied to a customer on Twitter to say it was selling Pepsi Blue only as a limited time offer. What a tease! Or perhaps it was a marketing ploy to determine how many people would be interested in a reboot. Pepsi targeted its early version of Pepsi Blue at preteens and young teens. One said at the time, "It tastes like a Crayola, but not as good." That certainly isn't the most glowing review the drink could have received. Another called it disgusting and said that it tasted profoundly artificial with a weird tingle to it. Still, there were plenty of people who found the 2021 version delicious. Pepsi Blue disappeared from shelves in 2004, possibly because it contained questionable Blue No. 1 dye. Healthline cites various studies that did not find any evidence that Blue No. 1 caused cancer. So maybe we can relax our concerns for the next Pepsi Blue comeback. Ritz is another company teasing us with limited releases of old favorites. On August 10, 2022, Ritz announced it was giving away 300 boxes of its Ritz Bits Sandwiches S'mores, a Y2K classic. All you had to do was follow its Facebook page and leave a comment tagging a friend. So you were supposed to get your friends all excited about the s'mores flavor rising from the grave, but only 300 were going to get a box? We're hoping they're planning a larger release to the general public later. Surely they can't just tease and walk away. However, the whole thing was in honor of National S'mores Day, also on August 10th, so maybe that was all we get. The last time Ritz discontinued its Ritz Bits Sandwiches S'mores was in 2016. However, at least one person reports still being able to buy them in Canada in 2022. So there's certainly hope these tasty treats could show up on US shelves again in the near future, if we keep our fingers crossed. Another fun food from Y2K that is making a comeback is Frosted Grape Pop-Tarts. Back in 2020, Mashed listed Frosted Grape as a Pop-Tart flavor you'll sadly never get to try again. But we were wrong. They're back! Grape Pop-Tarts first appeared back on shelves in April 2022. Hopefully, they're here to stay. To herald their return, Pop-Tarts gave a Grape-tastic prize to the first 50 fans who tagged and shared a Frosted Grape look on Instagram. Fans posted pictures of themselves with purple hair or wearing purple in an attempt to win a prize packet. The winners received a year's supply of Frosted Grape Pop-Tarts and a Y2 Grape time capsule filled with purple Y2K memorabilia like a purple hat, grape lip gloss, butterfly hair clips, and more. When Pop-Tarts first discontinued Frosted Grape, they said they did so because there weren't enough fans. But their scarcity before their demise may have been why they didn't sell as many, as one customer noted on Twitter. However, plenty of people consider Frosted Grape Pop-Tarts their favorite, so it seems that the fans won on this one. The comeback of Froot Loops cereal straws is a good example of how petitions may succeed in getting popular products back. According to USA Today, 81,000 people signed a petition on Change.org between 2017 and 2021 to get cereal straws back after a 12-year absence. Kellogg's not only brought back its Froot Loop straws, but also its Cocoa Krispies straws. Cereal straws look a little like pirouette cookies, but with a cereal coating on the outside and flavor on the inside that you taste as you suck milk through the straw. The beauty of these straws is that you can eat them when you finish drinking milk through them. So you don't even have to wash a spoon. If you can't find Froot Loop cereal straws in a grocery store near you, you can find them online. Each packet contains 18 green, yellow, orange, and red straws. Fans are excited to see this 2000s food making a comeback. One even says, "These are the straws that will save the planet, not paper straws." We wouldn't go quite that far with our praise unless you use an edible cup too, but they certainly are making people happy. Kellogg's Eggo cereal made cereal lovers happy with two flavors when it was introduced in 2006, cinnamon toast and maple syrup. Fans were saddened when these cereals disappeared in 2012. Interestingly, a tweet in 2019 led the way for the return of this breakfast great. The tweet pleaded with Eggo to start making its cereal again. Eggo responded on National Waffle Day, saying that it would bring the cereal back if the post could get 10,000 retweets. Amazingly, it did. National Waffle Day was on August 24th, and by November, the Twitter user became a hero of Eggo cereal lovers everywhere when the cereal returned to store shelves.
I feel safe over here. Oh, there's no stopping it!
Not only did Eggo start producing the newly named maple-flavored homestyle cereal, but it added blueberry waffle and chocolate waffle to its cereal collection as well. That's quite a task in such a short time. Some fans from the 2000s were amazed by how close to the original the comeback cereal was, while others weren't nearly impressed with the flavor, saying that the milk washed it away too quickly. In 2021, some people were worried that Eggo cereal had gone away again. but it only seemed to be a temporary shortage. As far as we know, Kellogg's has no intention of taking it off the shelves again so soon. Burger King's first run with chicken fries was from 2005 to 2012. They came back for a limited time in 2014 and were added to the permanent menu in 2015, only to disappear again in some locations. In July 2020, Burger King's marketing director in the UK, Katie Evans, said, "Burger King is delighted to be able to bring back another much-loved menu item." Burger King's chicken fries are well-loved and represent what focus group testing indicated customers wanted. Not only did they provide customers with a chicken option in a burger-based fast food restaurant, but they were more like chicken fingers than chicken nuggets. BK chicken fries are made from single strips of white meat chicken rather than ground chicken, making them much tastier than a nugget option. So it's surprising they ever went away.
Hey, chicken! You got a lot of nerve hanging around with those french fries, man. What? Maybe you want to be a french fry, huh?
Pizza Hut's Pizzone is an example of a relaunch gone wrong. Pizza Hut first put Pizzones on its menu in 2002 and launched them with a Super Bowl ad. They briefly resurfaced in 2007 and again in 2011. However, when Pizza Hut tried to bring Pizzones back in 2018, fans said that the new version was almost nothing like the original and that Pizza Hut should be embarrassed. Pizza Hut tried to bring Pizzones back again in 2021, but they didn't sell well. One employee said that they only sold 10 to 15 per week, and several customers noted that Pizza Hut should have advertised their Pizzones better. After all, people tend to buy their old standbys when they order pizza and may not look at the extended menu. Once again, some said the latest Pizzones were nothing like the originals. A customer on Reddit said that the previous version seemed fresh with Parmesan and oregano sprinkled on top, while the new ones were flavorless with Parmesan baked into the dough. Pizzones were nowhere to be found on the menu in the fall of 2022. Hopefully, when Pizza Hut tries to resurrect them again, they'll use the old recipe and get it right. Spicy chicken is all the rage these days, so it makes sense that Wendy's has finally brought back its spicy chicken nuggets. They first found their way to Wendy's menu in 2009, but they disappeared in 2017. Fans of Wendy's spicy chicken nuggets were devastated after discovering they were gone. An employee said that Wendy's removed them from the main menu because they weren't selling well. Supposedly, franchises could still buy them if they wanted to, but they weren't a requisite menu item anymore. So, in most places, they just disappeared. Interestingly, Thrillist says it was Chance the Rapper who prompted Wendy's to return the spicy chicken nuggets to its regular menu in 2019 after he tweeted a positive affirmation about getting Wendy's spicy nuggets back. Wendy's replied by saying, "Y'all keep asking, so here's your chance. The people in charge say if you guys can get our tweet, this one right here, to 2 million likes, they will bring spicy chicken nuggets back. Let's freaking do this." More than 1.9 million people liked the post. And not only were the spicy chicken nuggets immensely popular upon their return, it now looks like there's no sign that they will be leaving anytime soon.
How does that feel? Ridiculous and unreal.
Another food from the 2000s that returned in 2022 was Neapolitan Oreos. They were last seen on shelves in 2011, and fans were happy when Twitter predicted their reappearance in June 2022. By July 2022, they were on the shelves as a limited edition item. Neapolitan Oreos are waffle cone-flavored cookies triple stuffed with vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate cream fillings, making them a much sought-after treat. Chew Boom said that they would be around only while supplies last, which means you may not be able to find them anymore if they're already sold out in your area. Some people thought they tasted exactly like ice cream in a cookie via Influencer. However, not everyone likes them, which may be why they were limited edition. One person on Reddit said, "The waffle cookies are really bad and do not taste like an Oreo cookie. It almost had a cinnamon taste to it, which combines with the strawberry flavor into a weird mix that almost tastes more like cinnamon apple. Would have been much better on normal golden Oreos." If you didn't catch these when they were available in a store near you, keep looking. They're bound to pop up again eventually.